Rev up your engines! Here we have a Mazda RX-8. Unique cars because they got the Wankel rotary engine. The last try of Mazda with rotary engines. Believe it or not, they were making commercial vehicles, Mazda Cosmoses, in the 1960s, using the patent from Wankel through NSU, which later got bought by Audi, to make these crazy little cars with Wankel rotary engines. Now, why did they make those? It's a German design. Of course, Germans build things just because they can, but it has to do with size and power. This thing is a whopping 1.3 liter engine hidden underneath all this nonsense. The engine's back in here. It doesn't take up much space, but it puts out 232 horsepower. Now, in horsepower per liter, like 2 horsepower less per liter than a big old Ferrari engine. Now, granted, the Ferrari engine is a lot bigger than 1.3 liters, but it shows you the power that these things can give out. But it's not just pure power. It's the design of the engine. A Wankel engine isn't a piston engine. Pistons, by their inherent design, have one big problem. They go up and down, they turn the crankshaft. So you got up, stop, down, right? There's a lot of friction and wear in that. But when you have a Wankel engine, it just spins. Guess what? It can spin and spin and spin. Kind of like a turbine engine. Now, they're not as insane as turbine engines, but still, they are spinning. It's naturally spinning the whole time. It's not up, stop, down, up, stop, down. So you can rev the heck out of these things and they can take it. So why might you think, why aren't all cars made this way? They got 2 big problems. And numero uno is, sad but true, they're absolute gas hogs. Little car, right? 1.3 liter engine, but he averages about 16 miles a gallon in this thing. They are gas hogs. This is the way they are. They originally realized they could run it on just about anything. One of their advertisements on the original ones were, you could run it on perfume, you could run it on moonshine, you could run it on anything, but they're gas hog engines, which of course leads to the second problem. If an engine is a gas hog, what does that mean? It means it's inefficient. Well, the main reason they stopped making these RX-8s was because when the Europeans raised their standards for air pollution quality, these babies couldn't pass it. And the Japanese decided, well, we can't sell these things in Europe now. We're not selling that many of them anyways. And then they stopped making them. Now, instead of piston rings with pistons going up and down, they got triangular setups, and each one is an apex on the corner, has a seal. And guess what? They've had problems over the ages of those seals going bad. They had systems where they injected oil to lubricate them while they're going. But let's put on our thinking caps here. What does that mean? You're injecting oil into the engine fuel system. It's going to burn it. And what does it do? It pollutes, right? So it's going against the pollution laws. It's just an engine that inherently can't go with modern times. It's fascinating design. I mean, I'm a motorcycle aficionado. I've owned lots of Nortons. And one time Norton had an Interpol one that had a Wankel engine. They let it go in one race, which it won, and then they banned it because they said it's not fair. You can't have a twirly engine go against piston engines go up and down. So they never let it race again. And they didn't sell that many of them anyways. Now, Suzuki made a small one as a motorcycle, and they were fun to drive around, but they weren't race motorcycles. And of course, what's the thing about a motorcycle? They're fast, but they get pretty good gas mileage. Well, if you have a motorcycle that gets crappy gas mileage, and they got tiny little gas tanks, guess what? You gotta fill them up all the time. And when we go back to this RX-8, another thing that led to its demise is just the general demise of sports cars in the United States anyway. They are not that popular anymore. They don't sell. Why do you think? The Toyota Supra is really a BMW Roadster made by BMW in Germany. Because Toyota doesn't want to spend hundreds of millions of dollars developing a sports car that they're never going to make any money at because they only sell a few thousand of them. And it's not like these are terrible cars. This is a Series 2 where they got rid of most of the problems that they have. It's just that all the market forces, people don't want sports cars. They want to get better gas mileage. They have to meet more and more stringent pollution requirements. That's what led to the demise of these things. They are a lot of fun to drive around. Now, this guy had to go all the way down to Pennsylvania from Massachusetts to find one to buy it. They're getting rarer and rarer. They never sold that many of them in the first place. And the thing about these second generation RX-8s are, a lot of people got them and they liked them. So they held on to them, and they're not going to sell them because they're having fun. If you got a toy car like this, you don't care that it's getting 15, 16 miles a gallon. Now, his is a daily driver, but they're dependable cars. He bought it 2 years ago for 10 grand. It still runs perfectly fine. He didn't have any real problems with it whatsoever. It's a Japanese car. It's a Mazda. It's got very interesting designs, a suspension system. They handle a lot better than the earlier ones did. And they're a classic sports car. The engine's in the front. It's got a standard transmission. And it's rear-wheel drive. Now, he's not a drifter, but guys like drifting him because the power that comes out of that little bitty engine, and you're on rear-wheel drive, you can have fun drifting one of these things around. They're not insanely priced yet, like a Nissan Skyline. Those prices of those has gone absolutely bananas. Who knows? This might be the next sleeper car that's going to start raising up in value because people are going to want to have fun with things like this. Now, because the engine's small and light, these things are perfectly balanced 50-50 front to back. They are great for doing autocross stuff on. They're not straight line burners, you know, 232 horsepower, it's plenty enough to get it around, but they handle quite well. And of course, they are a sports car. Technically, it does have back seats, but the people in the back seats have to have really tiny legs. And being one of the last ones they made, check it out. They finally realized, well, if people are going to get in that tiny back, at least give them an easy way to get in. Suicide doors. In a Japanese car. To me, it's worth the price of admission just for these suicide doors. Just make sure that you have tiny friends. Now, the owner's girlfriend is 4'9", and she barely fits in the back of this thing. So, you don't buy this for crating everybody around it. This is not a people mover. This is a person mover. Now, the rotary engines, of course, they sound a little different. They got a neat whirring sound. Because they can spin, and check it out. The rev line doesn't come up until it gets to 9. All that power yet. It's nice and smooth. And I love the pistol grip emergency brake. Gunslinger. It's a sports car, and he's got coilovers on it. So when you hit the bumps, you feel the bumps. But that's not what a sports car is for. It's for straight line and curved speed. You don't get him for a comfy ride. And for those of you who know, he was smart. He got adjustable coilovers. He made them a little softer. If he wanted to really go at it, he could make them harder. That's the advantage when you can adjust stuff. But, you know, you're never going to get a Cadillac like riding one of these things. That's not what they're about. Well, let's see what this little 1.3 liter engine can do. They wind out. Not outrageous, but compared to the weight and the balance, they handle like a dream. Now, Mazda, the same company that makes the Mazda Miata. This is kind of like a Mazda Miata on steroids. You could put a supercharger on if you wanted to, but it's plenty enough fun the way it is. And it's not like you got to worry about blowing something and revving up the engine, because the rotary engine doesn't care. It just keeps spinning and spinning and spinning. Now, the owner, he was thinking when he first got it, I'm going to do all these crazy things, turbocharge it, drift it and all that, but he decided no. He was having too much fun the way it was. It's a really well-designed 50-50 balanced car for driving around in for what it is. And once, just for kicks, he drove like a grandma just to see what he could get gas mileage driving extremely slow. And he bumped it up to like almost 19 miles a gallon. They're not gas savers. That's the problem with the Wankel rotary engine. And that's why you'll probably never see another company sell a large production run of Wankel engines. They just can't meet any of the specifications for pollution control. But on the other hand, I saw that they were thinking about using them with electric cars as a backup motor for a generator, so that say you drive 100 miles and your electric battery is going, then there could be a Wankel rotary engine, and that could run the generator, which would in turn charge the battery, so the vehicle would still run at full speed. And of course, if you know anything about generators, they work best at a certain RPM, so they could put in a Wankel engine that at least gave the most efficient use of its power, because it's always running at the same speed, just running a generator. It's not running the whole car where it's got to rev up higher. It's just generating electricity. So maybe they'll come back in a limited role like that. But I doubt they're ever going to put it in a full production car. But basically, I got to give kudos to Mazda. They're beautiful looking cars, and guess what? They did it all themselves. They built these cars. They designed these cars. They tested these cars. They didn't just say, oh, let's go buy one of these from another company and call them a Mazda. And here's old Scotty's suggestion. If you're thinking about one of these, hurry up and buy one now. He paid 10 grand. Immaculate car, right? Hey, I think these things are going to end up kind of like the S2000s, where they're just going to go up in price because the people that do want sports cars, they're going to have a less choice of sports cars. And something like this, that much fun for 10 grand, what are you going to get? A used Corolla? You know, come on now. That isn't going to be as much fun as this thing is. And as long as it's a toy for you, you don't care about gas mileage, hey, these things can run an awful long time. But, as the owner already warned me, because he was a mechanic in the Army working on vehicles, the guys that get these in turbo and supercharge them, hey, if they run them hard, they got to keep rebuilding the engines every 20, 30,000 miles because of those apex seals in the rotary engines. That's the critical flaw. They're spinning, but where is it sealed? It's all sealed at the apex seals. So of course, that's the first thing that's gonna wear out. And here's some interesting designs too. These are the factory rims, right? What do we got? Well, there's a rotary engine there, then a plain one, then another rotary engine, plain one. They even got the design incorporated into the wheels. And this is a veteran's car. All right, let the guy have some fun. Who cares if it gets crappy gas mileage? So now you know a little bit more about these RX-8s. If you don't care about gas mileage, and you don't care that much about straight line speed, you might think about buying one now before the prices get too sky high and you get priced out of the market. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.